3D drawings and modeling using AutoCAD. All right, so here are the learning objectives of this today free online lesson. I will go through about the 3D workspace and viewer menus of AutoCAD. I will also talk about how to create 3D solid, surface, and mesh object using various tools. But in today's topic, I will be more focusing on how you can make your 3D object from your 2D object by using some of the function or some of the tools like union, extrude, face, fillet, and so on. And lastly, if you have extra time, I will talk about how to apply the texturing and materials to the 3D object. So here are the object that we are working on today, which is the trail sign. So for this trail sign, we will use some of the function like extrude, maybe subtract, union, and revolve. A lot of function we'll be using on and to create it from a 2D object. And this will be the final result of the trail sign. It's a render image of it. We will have this result today. So let's get started. We will go to the AutoCAD software. And okay, so here is my AutoCAD 2D software. And once you are logging into this software, you need to change it into 3D modeling. As every time you use AutoCAD, if you are using in 2D, you need to change it by clicking this setting below here, the button here. Click it, and you can change to 3D modeling. As usually, the default setting will be drafting and annotation. So you need to click on 3D modeling to change it to this tab. Have home tab, solid tab, and this field tab in 3D. All right, so we'll start working on these 2D lines and make it into this 3D object. So to make it into 3D object, we need to work on the base first. Okay, so for the base, you can see is the footing of it. For the footing of it, I will first use the extrude function, which is located here at the home tab, at the modeling subtab, and here are the extrude function. I will show you how the extrude function works. So for the extrude function, is actually quite a simple way to do it. You just click on it, and you can select the object that you want to extrude it. So basically, you can make it your 2D lines or your cross section and make it into a 3D object. So by clicking enter, you can extract it or extrude it. You can hover it over, or you can specify your height. If you want to 2.5, you can specify the height. So you can make 3D object using this extrude function. Change it to realistic, so you can see it will become a 3D object. All right. So in the extrude function, it got two ways or two modes. As you can see, when I select all the object, when I go to the command bar, it got click on mode. You got two modes. The first one that I do, and the default function of the extrude function is solid. So it will create a solid object, and inside it will have volume inside. If you click surface and I extrude it, when I go to make it to realistic view, you can see it's just creating a surface view, and inside it is hollow. So you can make it, if you want to use parts, or you can make something that inside it is hollow, you can use the surface function. Okay, so we go back to the trail sign. We'll first use the extrude function. So before I do that, I will work on the layer first. For me to easier to work on this layer, I can isolate all the layer that I did not select it. So I can just remain the part of this cross section. Right? So I can open the footing, which is the one that I'm modeling, change to the layer, so I can start my extrusion. So same for extrusion, you just need to click on your cross section, click on it, click enter, and you can hover it. Here I have a guideline, so I can just hover it to this, or you can specify your distance or your height if you already know what is it. So clicking again, next. You can also change it to path in the command line. You click on the path, so you can just click on path and it will complete your extrusion. Right. So I complete my extrusion for the footing. Here at the layer bar, you can unisolate all the layers, which I just now I've isolated it. So the next one, I will be working on this sign base. So for this sign base, I will be using the same function, which is the isolate, and I will using the extrude function. Okay, so same, click on extrude. You can either hover it or you can just click on path. Okay, so I unisolate it. You can see the base is being created. All right, next I'll be working on the body of this sign trim. So this is the body of the sign trim, and here is the outer body of the sign trim. So I'll work on the outer body first. Same, the extrude function can be used in many ways, and you can always reuse it. So I will first isolate the layer for me to work on it, and I will turn the cross section into this sign body trim. Okay, so same extrusion, click on the cross section, click enter. You can choose path in the command line, and you click on the path that you will create your extrusion. Click enter to repeat the process for the function. Just click on it, repeat it. All right, so I make part of it of the bottom part of this body, and I will change it to 2D wireframe for me to look on the other cross section. So next, I will be working on the leg, these 4 legs of the body. And same, I will use the extrude function. So clicking on the extrude function, I will go to this cross section, click on it, and when I hover it, it is a straight line. So you cannot make it to taper on one angle. But for this body, it is taper on an angle. And for the easiest way is if you have created a path, you can just click on path. If I taught just now, click on the path, and you can see the path. It will follow the path for the extrusion. Same for the foreleg, you just can repeat the process. Click on path, click on the line, click enter, and choose path. And you can click orbit, this function, for you to rotate your view. So you can make your extrusion more easier in different view. Click on it, and click path, choose on the path, and there I go. I already created the legs of the body. Okay, so next I will moving on to create this cover of this body. So same, I use the extrude function, and I've created this body. So I just click on it, click enter, and wait a second. All right, so click on extrusion, and it will be a straight line. So here you cannot rotate it in 360 degree. You can click on the path. Same, I already created the path, so it will be rotated here. All right, so I turn on all my layers. You can see I've already created the outer part of the body. Next, I will be working on this inner part, which is the body of it. So here, I will isolate the layers first. And you can see I will make this 2 cross section and connect it together to make it as a 3D object, which is this body. So here I will be talking about the next function, which is the loft function. So for the loft function, I will demonstrate you here. So for the loft function, you can click on the arrow below the extrude function, and here is the loft function, the second function of it. So what loft function does is it connects different cross section and make it into a 3D object. So the cross section can be in different axes, different direction, and even different dimension. So you just click on all the cross section, and it will be connected together and make it as a 3D object. Okay, so if you click enter, repeat it, click on all the body, and it will let you choose. You either need the guides, path, or cross section only. So if you click path, as I already have a path here inside the 3D object, it will smoothen the object. As you can see, it created a 3D object and it smoothened it. So if you don't want, you just want to create the cross section only, you can click it, click cross section only, and it will also create a 3D object. So that's the loft function, and we will go back to our trail sign. So here we will use the loft function. Click on the loft function, select on the cross section, and click enter, cross section only. So the body has been created using the loft function. All right, so I will unisolate all the layers, and here you can see my body have been created. And working on the next one is to work on the roof. So first I will isolate the layer. So for the roof, it will be a little bit complex that you need to create it from these 2D lines. So what I want to do first is I want to create one face of the triangle 3D solid. And next, I will make an array of 4 items, and it will copy on 4 faces at these 3 triangle face. Okay, so here I will talk about the subtract function as I will use it the function. Okay, so I will go to the solid shape again, and I go to this. So here I'll need to change to solid tab above the ribbon here. From home tab, you change it to solid tab. So in solid tab, inside the Boolean subtab, we got 3 functions here. So the first one is union. So union is basically just combining 2 objects into an object. So if you click, this is 2 objects, and you click it together. When you click enter, and when you hover over it, it will become an object. Right, so that's the union function. And for the subtract function, it's just subtracting another object that you want to subtract it. So here the selection, the order of selection is very important. So clicking on the first object is the one you need to remain in. So click enter. Now you need to select on the second object. And I click enter. As you can see, the second object is already been removed. Okay, so the third one is intersect. So for intersect, it's just it will keep the intersection part. Click on it, as you can see, it will left the intersection part. Okay, so today we were using the function of subtract. Okay, we go back to the trail sign. Here, this line is actually we need to use the extrude function first, as we need to change the layer to roof, extrude it, I will extrude this line, and you can see it is a rectangular. I will extrude it to this point, and you can see this square, I need to subtract it into a triangle. So next, I will extrude the outer body of it, which is the box here that I've created. So when I extrude it, it doesn't matter the dimension. Turn it. You can see it already, the triangle already been created. Now we'll be using the subtract function that I teach just now. You need to subtract it from these boxes. So click on the solid tab, go to the subtract, and I will subtract it. You can see it already been. Right. So next, we'll go to the home. I will use the array function. So for the array function, you type on array, click enter, select the object that you want to make a pattern of it, and I will choose polar. So inside polar, I will choose the base point, which is the rotation of the point. Here is the center point for rotation. And now I already created the array of this triangle. But I only need the item of 4. So I click on item. I will choose 4 as I only have 4 faces. So I can create the roof by using this function. All right, so I'll go back to the home tab. And I will open the layers. So as you can see, the roof already been created and all the body and the footings is already been done. So next, we'll be working on the trail sign and this iron part that pulling out this trail sign. So I also need to isolate the layers. I open this trail sign layer. Okay. So same here, I will also use the extrude function as I already have this circle created. So I click on extrude. I can make this by clicking on the circle, click enter, and you can see the extrusion of it. And click on path. Click on the path on extrusion and just repeat all steps. Repeat it. And same for here. Choose path, click on it, enter. And there you go, we already done your extrusion for this line. Okay, so here I'll be using this. We'll be also using the extrusion function. Here you need to click on two object, click on enter, and I'll specify my distance of 1 cm. And as you can see, I want this part to be hollow, which is the center part of it. So I can maybe put a stick on it. So what I want to do is also, I will go to the solid tab, use the subtract to subtract this inner part of it. Okay, so you can click on subtract, click the part that you want to remain, enter, and click on the center point. So just click enter, and the inner part will be hollow. Right. So the other part will just the same. So you just follow it. Right. So same, use the extrusion, subtract, click on it, and the inside of it will be hollow. So here is the same, and I will not repeat it. I will go on to these plates. So for this plate, the same for the extrusion function, you can use it. Hover it to the center point of it. So the plate has been created. Okay, so moving on, you can, from the home tab, here you can create a 3D object by just clicking on this shape that you want. So if you want to create box, you can just click on this and you can create box like that. Right. So here I want to create a sphere as for this part as a pin. Okay, so I will create 0.5. And it's like a pin, just pinning on it, this plate. I'll repeat the function. And here. So that's for the iron part. Select all the layers back. And last, I will work on this trail sign. So for this trail sign, I will first make the outer part of it. Same, I will unisolate all the layers, turn on it. This is the trim. And here I will make the outer part of this sign. So same, I'll use the extrusion function, click on it, and make the extrusion on choosing the path. Here I already have the path, just click on it. So you already created the plate. But I also need it to be hollow inside throughout the circle. So same, use the subtract function, click on the first one, and it will be hollow inside. Right, so turn back on all the layers. Next, I will be working on this part, which is the inner part of the plates. And I'll turn on these layers. Same, using the extrude function, you can make it. Choosing path. Here, the path already been created. Click on it. So there you go. We already created the plates. So next, I'll be working on the word, as you need to make the word to become a 3D object. So it will become more realistic, either than just 2D lines. Okay, so I will need to click on the lines, isolate, turn on the layers of the logo. So I need to make it to 3D. Same, you can make it to 3D by using the extrusion function. So select all, click enter, choose the path. So here I created a small path here. And you can see the word will be more realistic in 3D. Then I also need to subtract the word. As you can see, the trail sign, the R and A is the middle part of it, is also been extruded. So you need to subtract it. Repeat the function. Right. So basically, this is all the how you create your layers by using layers to create a 3D object using the extrusion function, subtract function, and array function to create all the 3D object. Okay, so next I'll be moving on to insert the material or the texture that you want. So as you can see, this 3D object that I created is the color is the default colors, and you only can choose it from the range of the layers here. And I need to insert the materials and texture inside. So I will go to the Visualize tab, above the tab, and I will go to Material Browser. You can also type material inside it to open your browser. So, all right. Okay, so I think it's for a while. All right, so later I will go on to this material function, and now I will talk about our AutoCAD system first. Okay, so in my AutoCAD system, I will share my screen. Okay, so here, if you want to learn more on our FOL, you can go to acadsystems.com and you can go through here. Here is our description of our company, and you can have our promotion and news here. Next, you also can register your free online lesson and workshop or even webinars here, and you can click on it and register it. Okay, so go through to the bottom part of it. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube and follow our Facebook for more new information. So here you can find a lot of free online lesson and videos, even AutoCAD playlists, and more for the lesson that you want to learn. Okay, so any question before you can type your question. If you guys got any question for AutoCAD, you can type in the chat box or you can speak up. If you guys doesn't have any question, we can end our free online lesson today. So thank you guys for joining me today. And I hope you guys learn a lot.